Hello friends, my 125 friends. My name is Joyce and I'm one of the staff members at 125. Today I'd like to move us through a sequence that's typically called Sun and Moon Prayer. It's largely done standing. If you'd like to do it from a chair, it's a perfectly well adaptable one to do in a seated pose. The first time we move through it, we're going to do it more in a hatha fashion where we really get into and experience the poses with multiple breaths on each pose. The second time through, again, very hatha-like as we have multiple breaths, but also focusing on the symbolism of the movements. And the third time through, it'll be a bit more like a vinyasa where we're coordinating the movements with the breath. So any adaptation of this that feels good to you, wonderful. Let's begin with a wake up stretch. We're breathing our hands overhead and exhaling our arms out in front of us, clasping the hands. We then turn the hands inside out, getting a nice stretch for those wrists. We inhale overhead. We lean briefly to one side. We inhale overhead, exhale to the opposite side. We inhale overhead, release the hands, bring them out in front again. We're reclasping them, but with the opposite little finger on the bottom, so your non-dominant side. It's going to feel kind of funky. Turn those hands outside again, getting that nice wrist stretch. We breathe overhead, exhale to either side, breathe back up. Exhale to the opposite side, breathe back up. Bring our hands down to the sides, shake everything out, loosen the shoulders, loosen the hips, loosen the ankles, movement through the neck and the head, wiggling fingers and toes. And we're going to begin perhaps in the center of your mat. Feet are a little bit wider because we do incorporate some squat or semi-squat poses in. We begin bringing our hands to heart center, stretching the crown of the head to the ceiling and pressing the feet down into the mat, feeling very strong, balanced, and powerful. We bow to ourselves. We lift the head and bring the arms out into a giant hug circle as if we're embracing the trunk of a tree. Then gently opening those semicircular arms, we're finding a back bend. Shoulder blades are coming together. Hips can be moving forward. Gaze can be to the sky. We're then standing up straight, sweeping the hands together, coming into that gentle, gentle squat. Perhaps feet are flat on the floor, perhaps you're coming up to the balls of your feet. We're stacking our hands, one hand on top of the other palm. Our elbows or forearms can press against those inner thighs, increasing the stretch that we get here. One more deep breath. And now we're pressing down through the feet, energizing the legs as we inhale ourselves up, bringing those palms over the head, finding a gentle back bend. Arms separate. We inhale them overhead again, and we exhale to one side. We can be kicking the hips out, getting that nice long stretch through the rib cage. If we like, we can turn the chest somewhat skyward, so we're getting a bit of a twist along with this heart opener. Breathing, feeling all the spaces that open. We bring ourselves back up with an inhalation. We exhale to the opposite side, again sending those hips away, increasing that stretch through the rib cage, perhaps finding a bit of a heart opener and twist. Gaze can come to the sky or be straight across. We inhale ourselves back up. We're then bringing the arms wide, bending at the elbows, finding a cactus pose. With our feet pressing firmly into the ground, we find a gentle back bend here, allowing gravity to help open through the chest, squeeze those shoulder blades toward one another. We inhale back up. We bring our hands pointing to the heavens or finding our steeple fingers. We step back with one foot. Let's choose the right here. Our legs are both straight. We're pressing firmly into the mat with both legs, lifting up out of the hips, stretching those arms to the sky, but keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And now very gently, we begin lifting the right heel, bending both knees, coming into somewhat of a genuflection. We can send the hips back as we start to hinge at the hips. We can keep the arms, the biceps near the ears as our torso moves forward. Or we can allow the arms to move away from the ears, depending on how far we're going to bend. We bring those steeple fingers all the way down to the mat. If that's a comfortable reach, then pressing through both feet, both legs, we come back to our standing pose. We bring that right foot up to meet the left, keeping that wider stance. Pressing down through the legs and the feet, we're stretching up through the arms and the head. Spine is long. We step back with the left foot. Both legs are straight. We find our solid pose here. Left heel is pressing away from us to the back of the mat. Right foot is pressing away from us toward the front of the mat. We begin lifting the left heel and bending both knees as we shift the hips back, hinge at the hips, bringing those steeple fingers toward or onto the mat with biceps either at the ears or arms independent of the head. Pressing through both feet, we come all the way back up. We bring that left foot up to meet the right. We're releasing the hands, widening the feet a little bit more if you need as you come down into another squat. Again, we're stacking one hand in the other palm. We can breathe into the stretch as we press the arms or the elbows against those inner thighs. We're now going to bring the palms of the hands together in a prayer pose. So as we're pressing those palms together, we can press through those inner thighs even more. Maintaining that energy between the palms, we're going to begin standing. We press down through those feet, all the way through the legs. Once we get past heart center, we're opening the fingers and pressing the heels of the hands together. We're then bringing those hands all the way overhead. We then bring the hands down to the front and open them again. We bring them back into center, hands clasp, and we bow to ourselves. Beautiful, beautiful. There's some repetition here, some little bit of minor differences the second time through. I'm going to incorporate the symbolism of the poses as we move through this time. We start with our hands at heart center and we bow to ourselves. We lift the head, we bring the arms out. This is a lot like the rings in a 3-ring binder. Here they're closed and we're opening them, squeezing those shoulder blades together, getting a bit of a back bend here. We can send the hips forward. This is where we embrace all of community. We bring the arms back and around. We're dropping into that squat, feet flat or on the balls of the feet. We're bringing the hands so that one hand stacks on the other palm. This is as if we're dipping in to a pond of water, honoring water. So the hands are cupped, and we visualize carrying that cup full of water with us as we stand up, pressing through those legs, very, very strong. And we gently toss that water over our heads. We now unclasp the hands or unstack the hands. In this part of the pose, part of the sequence, we're honoring wind. We inhale, stretching the hands to the heavens, and we exhale to one side. We stay either right at the side, experiencing the stretch through the side body. We have the option of opening the heart center a bit and adding a little twist. We inhale back up, and the wind, as we honor it, blows us to the opposite side, enjoying the twist, or I'm sorry, the stretch right here, or adding the opening and the twist, breathing in to the rib cage. We inhale our bodies back up. We bring the arms to our goalpost or cactus configuration. Here we are honoring fire. Head and hands are the flames. We exhale, allowing those elbows, those arms, to let gravity pull them down enough to bring those shoulder blades a bit closer to one another. Love being sent from the heart center. We straighten the body, bring the hands overhead. We can have the hands just straight up or have steeple fingers where all fingers are clasped, but the pointers are together up over the head. We step back with the right foot, toes are all pointing forward. We find strength in the legs. Body is pointed straight ahead. We can lift that back heel and bend the knees. We're finding that genuflection. Hips scoot back just a bit as we bring the hip hinge into place. Fingers are coming closer to or onto the mat. We can keep the head right between the forearms or lift the head if that's more comfortable for shoulders and neck. This is honoring earth. So first we honor it on one side. We then press through our feet and our legs, coming all the way back up, bringing the right leg up to meet the left. We prepare to honor earth on the opposite side. We step back with the left leg. Legs are energized, stretching the mat in opposite directions. Spine is still very, very long, lifting out of the hips. We begin to bend the knees and lift the back heel. Scoot the hips back, engaging that hip hinge. Coming down onto or toward the mat with those steeple fingers, honoring earth. We go ahead and press down through the feet and the legs, coming all the way back up. We bring that left leg to meet the right leg. We'll be moving into another squat, so perhaps we widen our stance even a bit more. This time we sweep down. Our hands not only go into that pond as we're opening through our inner thighs, but actually down into a bit of the mud. As we begin to slowly lift them, we're coming up with a lily pad. We bring the hands just a bit higher. Press those palms together, representing the bud of the lotus flower. Pressing the hands together, we're continuing to open through those thighs. We then begin to press down through the feet, or if we're on the balls of the foot, we start there, bringing strength all the way up through the body. Once we're past heart center, we open the hands. This is the lotus flower blossoming, filled with love, knowledge, wisdom, coming all the way overhead. That love, knowledge, and wisdom is brought to the entire community and to ourselves as well. Third time through, we're going to match our breath through to the movements, so it'll move a bit more rapidly. Go ahead and do it however it really works for you. If you want to be thinking about the moves, if you want to be focused more on the symbolism, if you want to be just sort of dazing out, that's fine too. We honor ourselves. We honor community. Exhaling, we come down to our squat. Inhaling, we press all the way up and swoosh the water back. That was with our exhale, I'm so sorry. We inhale back to a solid pose. We exhale with the wind to one side. Inhale to center. Exhale with the wind to the opposite side. Inhale to center. Exhaling, we're finding our fire pose. We inhale into our steeple. And we exhale, finding our solid pose, stepping back with the right foot. Then we inhale here, finding our power, and as we exhale, we're bending the knees, lifting the heel, honoring earth. We exhale all the way down and inhale ourselves back up. We exhale the right foot to meet the left. We inhale the left foot back. We exhale, honoring earth on the opposite side. We inhale all the way up, bringing our legs together, finding our wider stance. We're exhaling down into that mud, pressing those thighs open. We're inhaling, bringing that lotus bud with us. Inhaling further as the lotus flower opens, bringing that wisdom overhead. Exhaling into a gentle back bend as we bring the arms out to embrace all of community and bringing our hands to heart space. We bow to ourselves. We can take several breaths here. We go ahead and incorporate any relaxation pose that feels good to us. And we know that we are just so much a part of this world. Namaste.